Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome to Dragon Age Origins. Yeah, I'm sorry it's been a couple of weeks since I finished Final Fantasy, but the game I originally wanted to do next ran into technical difficulties, and I ended up losing my entire save file to it. Until we resolve that issue, I figured I'd go with another choice, which in this case is Dragon Age. Man, I can't believe it's already been 10 years since this came out. 2009. But yeah. If you've seen my Mass Effect playthrough, of course, you'll probably know I'm a big BioWare fan. And of course, Mass Effect is probably my favorite sci-fi game of theirs. Dragon Age would be my favorite fantasy. So, let's begin our journey. Man, I just love the music in this.
The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness and prevail. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Okay, time to choose our character. I'm of course going to be playing as male. Men and women for Aedan are generally regarded as equals. Both genders are evenly represented in most organizations, noble houses, and military forces. Race. The most numerous, yet the most divided of all the races. Only 4 times have humans ever united under a single cause, the last being centuries ago. Religion and the chantry play a large part in human society. It distinguishes them culturally from elves and dwarves more than anything else. Humans can be warriors, rogues, or mages. And your benefits is you get 1 strength, 1 dexterity, 1 magic, and 1 cunning. If you're an elf, once enslaved by humans, most elves have all but lost their culture. Scrounging and impoverished living in the slums of human cities, only the nomadic Dalish tribes still cling to their traditions, living by the bow and the rule of their old gods as they roam the ancient forests, welcome nowhere else. Elves can be warriors, rogues, or mages. Racial benefits, you get +2 will and +2 magic. Dwarves. Rigidly bound by caste and tradition, the dwarves have been waging a losing war for generations, trying to protect the last stronghold of their once vast underground empire from the darkspawn. Dwarves are very tough and have a high resistance to all forms of magic, thus preventing them from becoming mages. Racial benefits, you get +1 strength, 1 dexterity, 2 constitution, 10% chance to resist hostile magic. I'm going to be going with a human. Now for my class, I could be a warrior. Warriors are powerful fighters, focusing on melee and ranged weapons to deal with their foes. They can withstand and deliver a great deal of punishment and have a strong understanding of tactics and strategy. Specializations for a warrior include Berserker, Templar, Champion, and Reaver. Benefits, you get +4 strength, +3 dexterity, and +3 constitution. I could be a mage. As dangerous as it is potent, magic is a curse for those lacking the will to wield it. Malevolent spirits that wish to enter the world of the living are drawn to mages like beacons, putting the mage and everyone nearby in constant danger. Because of this, mages lead lives of isolation, locked away from the world they threaten. Specializations include Spirit Healer, Shapeshifter, Arcane Warrior, and Blood Mage. Class benefits is you get +5 magic, +4 will, and +1 cunning. Or I could be a rogue. Rogues are skilled adventurers who come from all walks of life. All rogues possess some skill in picking locks and spotting traps, making them valuable assets to any party. Tactically, they are not ideal frontline fighters, but if rogues can circle around behind their target, they can backstab to devastating effect. Rogue specializations are Ranger, Bard, Duelist, and Assassin. Benefits is you get +4 dexterity, +2 will, and +4 cunning. I think I'm going either warrior or rogue. I think I'm going to go rogue for this one. Now, background. Well, since I didn't choose a mage, my only one left is human noble. Born to wealth and power second only to royalty, you find your training in both diplomacy and battle put to the test as your brother leads the bulk of your family's forces to war in the south. Okie doke. Do I want Aedan to be my name? Seems fun to me. Let's go, Aedan.
Greetings.
I think there's supposed to be music playing on this, but for some reason it never does for me. Now, to just make my character. Let's just start here. Skin. give you a little bit darker. Oh, that's yellow. Maybe a bit of a tan. Sure. Tattoos. Do I want tattoos? That look kind of nice. But do I want it? That's the question. I could dim it out. We'll think about it. Hair. Maybe. No. I'll go with this one. Do I want facial hair? I think he's fine clean shaven. Color's fine. Eyebrows? Don't get much choice in eyebrows, huh? Stubble. Possibly. Eyes. I think we're okay on eyes. Nose. For some reason, for me, nose is always the hardest. I don't know where we started with. Was it this one? I think it was this one. I just don't want to spend too long on this, because it's like, then I'm just going to be finicky. Give him a skinny neck. Big, thick one. Portrait. Oh, that one. Voice. What do we got?
No, it is gone. I should do something else. I need buy, please.
How do you do?
Oops, where's my head? New weapon.
Greetings. Well, that didn't work. I need some other attack.
Greetings. I've lost my concentration! This weapon does nothing.
Charmed, I'm sure. It didn't work! It's not working!
Greetings.
Ah, my spell! This isn't working! Need something else! You're in my way.
Greetings. I have lost concentration. I must try another tactic. Excuse me. Till we meet again.
I think I might go with wise. So, Aedan Cousland. Is this what he's going to look like? Yeah, I can deal with that. Yep. Okay. Strength measures a character's physical prowess and directly affects the damage a character deals in physical combat. It also contributes to the accuracy of melee attacks. High strength is essential for warriors, in particular if they wish to wield two-handed weapons, and is nearly as critical for rogues. Dexterity is the measure of agility, reflexes, and balance. Higher dexterity improves the character's chances to hit, makes the character more likely to dodge incoming blows, and contributes to the damage dealt by piercing weapons like daggers or arrows. Archery and dual-wield fighting styles demand high dexterity to master, making this attribute a favorite for rogues. Willpower represents a character's determination and mental fortitude. With high willpower, mages can cast more spells thanks to a deeper mana pool. For warriors and rogues, willpower grants more stamina for combat techniques and special attacks. Magic is the measure of a character's natural affinity for the arcane. This attribute is crucial for mages since it directly increases a character's spell power score, which determines the potency of all spells. The magic attribute also determines how effective potions, poultices, and salves are for all classes. Cunning determines how well a character learns and reasons. Most skills, such as herbalism or combat tactics, require a quick mind to master, and an observant eye can more easily find weaknesses in enemy armor. Rogues benefit most from this statistic, as many of their class abilities and special attacks rely on subtlety or reading the target, not raw strength. Constitution represents health and resilience. Higher constitution directly increases the amount of damage a character can take before falling on the battlefield. So since I'm a rogue, I really want to make sure I have high cunning and dexterity for sure. And I got 5 points. Put one in there. Put one in there. Put 2 in strength. and 1 in health. Okay, 1 skill. I got poison making, improved combat training, combat tactics. This character can formulate strategies quickly in battle and consequently gains a combat tactics slot. This character has seen more battles than ever, even a seasoned soldier, and gains a small bonus to attack. Warriors and rogues gain access to 3rd tier weapon talents. Mages can take more damage from an attack before it interrupts their spellcasting. Herbalism. The character can make simple potions, poultices, and salves from common herbs. Survival. The character can detect the presence of nearby creatures below the character's own level. This skill also grants a small bonus to nature resistance. The character has learned to construct basic traps and lures out of common components. The character is quick enough to pilfer small items from others, whether friendly or hostile, so long as they are not too alert. The character is influential enough to convince others to change their views. Strength contributes to a more intimidating character, whereas cunning contributes to a more persuasive. I think I'm going to go with coercion. 2 points for talents. The rogue incapacitates a target who takes no damage from the attack but is stunned for a short time. The rogue delivers a swift and unsportsmanlike kick to the target, dealing normal combat damage as well as imposing penalties to defense and movement speed unless the target passes a physical resistance check. All rogues have some understanding of opening locks and spotting traps, but particularly dexterous hands and a steady grip give the character a bonus when picking locks or disarming traps. The character's cunning score also contributes to these skills. The rogue has learned to fade from view, although perceptive enemies may not be fooled. Taking any action beyond movement, including engaging in combat or using items, will still attract attention. If the rogue initiates combat while still stealthed, the first strike is an automatic critical hit or backstab. Dual weapon training. The character has become more proficient fighting with 2 weapons and now deals closer to normal damage bonus with the offhand weapon. When in this mode, the character strikes with both weapons simultaneously. Attacks cause more damage, but the character cannot inflict regular critical hits or backstabs. The character sweeps both weapons in a broad forward arc, striking nearby enemies with 1 or both weapons and inflicting significantly more damage than normal. Archery. Experience fighting in tight quarters has taught the archer to fire without interruption, even when being attacked. A shot to the target's leg disables the foe, pinning the target in place unless it passes a physical resistance check and slowing movement speed otherwise. Speed wins out over power while this mode is active, as the archer fires more rapidly but without any chance of inflicting regular critical hits. Master Archer increases the rate of fire further still. So these are basically our basic rogue things. This specializes in dual weapons, and this specializes in archery. I'm going to go with Deft Hands. Got 1 more. Go with Below the Belt. Casual. For players new to role-playing games, your party is immune to friendly fire. For most players, your party is immune to friendly fire. For RPG veterans ready for a challenge, friendly fire between members of your party inflict half damage. For those who know no fear, friendly fire inflicts full damage on your party's members. I think I'm going to go with normal. There's no way I'm doing nightmare. Let's begin.
For generations, your family, the Couslands, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Cousland's banner in service to the crown. Not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No, no. The appearance of the darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True. Though we both had less grey in our hair then. And we fought Orlesians, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pup, I didn't see you there. Hal, you remember my son?
I see he's grown into a fine young man. Pleased to see you again, lad.
Nice to see you, Tim Curry.
My daughter Delilah asked after you. Perhaps I should bring her next time.
Delilah is quite a bit younger than I am.
As you get older, those years make less difference. A lesson often hard won.
I doubt he'll be receptive, Hal. My fierce boy has his own mind these days, may God bless his heart.
As uniquely talented as his father, I'm sure.
At any rate, Pup, I summoned you for a reason. While your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
I'll do my best, Father.
Now, that's what I'd like to hear. Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Aedan Cousland.
Your lordship, you didn't mention that a Grey Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
They're an order of... They're an order of great warriors.
They are the heroes of legend, who ended the Blights and saved us all. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your son is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is one of my sons we're talking about.
Is there a reason I shouldn't join them?
You did just finish saying that Grey Wardens are heroes, old friend.
I've not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone?
Of course.
In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me.
Where is Fergus?
Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt. Spending some last moments with his wife and my grandson. Be a good lad and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
Dad, do you have to keep calling me pup? I'm like 28.
I'm sorry, but I believe your father wishes to talk to the Arl and myself alone.
Oh, sorry. I'll leave you alone then.
Until we speak again.
Okay, off we go. Can I pick this?
Finished.
What do we got in here? Mace. I'll take that. Can I lockpick? Greenstone.
It is over. Oh, my lord, we were just,
Playing cards?
well, the treasury's safe. I'm not even sure why the Terran stationed us here.
Did my father fear someone would steal something?
I don't know. Nobody has come to look at the treasury.
Who has... Wait. Who has the key?
The Terran, and perhaps the Tanner? Honestly don't know, my lord.
Then perhaps you better get back to work.
Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Yeah, you may not understand why you're guarding it, but you got a duty to perform. You never know what could happen. I mean, we all saw what happened with Spider-Man. There's the treasury, so Mom or Dad probably have the key then. That's a dead end.
There you are. Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Hello to you too, Sir Gilmore.
Pardon my manners, my lord. It's simply that I've been looking all over the castle for you. I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave.
Oh boy. Did he get into the larder again?
No matter how the maids try to keep him out, he always finds a way in. You know these Mabari hounds. They listen only to their master. Anyone else risks having an arm bitten off.
I guess you should go collect them.
That would be wise, before Nan tears down the walls. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we?
Okay, I need to talk to my brother first, though.
Your mother was quite specific. Unless the castle is under attack, you get that dog before doing anything else. Her words, not mine. Before we go, my lord, might I beg a question? I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here. Is that true?
Yes.
Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me?
I'm not certain. Maybe.
Maybe? Have mercy! Is he asking after me or not?
Fine, yes, he thinks he might be recruit material.
Maker's breath. Are you certain? Can you imagine? Me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of. Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
Mischief in the larder. Get your trusty hound out of the larder. Sir Gilmore has come to you with a problem in the kitchen. Your dog is in the pantry causing problems, and the cook wants you to deal with him. Sir Gilmore will join you while you deal with the matter. Your father, Aedan Cousland, and Arl Howe had been summoned by King Kaelin to the battle at Ostagar. However, all Arl Howe's forces have been delayed. You have been sent to tell your brother Fergus that he should leave for Ostagar ahead of your father. Fergus is probably in his room, saying goodbye to his wife and child. Time for some codex! Castle Highever has stood since the Divine Age, and when it was not an independent Banorn, but merely an outpost of the growing Banorn of Amaranthine, in the days before Amaranthine became an Arling itself. The outpost of Highever was originally held by the Elstan family, cousins of the Howes. In the Age of Towers, however, Ban Conabar Elstan was murdered by his wife Flemeth, thus ending the bloodline. Conabar's captain of the guard, Aedan Cousland, took the lands and title. The Couslands declared their independence from Amaranthine, starting a war that lasted 30 years. When the dust settled, Highever was on its own, and in possession of half the land that had once been southwestern Amaranthine. Highever became a tyranner during the Black Age, when Aedan Cousland gathered the lords together under her banner to drive the werewolves out of their lands, earning herself the title of Tyrna almost as an afterthought. Today, Highever is one of the only 2 remaining Tyrners, making the Cousland family second in rank only to the king. Wow. The First Blight had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. A god had risen, twisted and corrupted. The remaining gods of Tevinter were silent, withdrawn. What writing we have recorded from those times is filled with despair, for everyone believed, from the greatest archons to the lowliest slaves, that the world was coming to an end. At Weishout Fortress in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Imperium, seasoned veterans who had known nothing but their entire lifetime except hopeless war, came together. When they left Weishout, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer. They were the Grey Wardens. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The Blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. They grew in numbers as well as reputation. Finally, in the year 992 of the Tevinter Imperium, upon the Silent Plains, they met the archdemon Dumat in battle. A third of all armies of northern Thedas were lost to the fighting, but Dumat fell and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumat, Zazikil, Toth, Andoril, Razikael, Lusikan, and Uthemiel. 4 have risen as archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch through the ages, well aware that peace is fleeting, and that the war continues until the last of the dragon gods is gone. So 1, 2, 3. So the 4th one is Andoril. Oh wait, I wanted to keep reading. Dang it. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Warden sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. Like many others, Duncan gave up his family name when he joined the ranks of the Wardens, a symbolic gesture of cutting ties. He might say this was a convenience in his case. However, his mother was from the Anderfels, his father from Tevinter. His childhood was spent in the free marches in Orlais. His people were everywhere, and his homeland was nowhere. He was given the almost impossible task of leading the Wardens in Ferelden, a kingdom that had thrown the Order out 200 years earlier. Facing local suspicion and hostility, he set about finding recruits. It will be good to ride into battle once more, won't it, old friend? The Arling of Amaranthine winds along the sinuous northeastern coast of Ferelden. The waking sea is known for its temper, and the storms that sweep in from the warmer northern waters are sudden and brutal. These are the lands of Rendon Howe. He was born during the occupation, and like many of the nobles of the time, joined Prince Merrick's rebels. He fought alongside young Bryce Cousland, future Terran of Highever, and Leonas Bryland, future Arl of South Reach, at the bloody Battle of White River. It was the most catastrophic defeat of the entire occupation, from which only 50 rebel soldiers escaped alive. Although he was decorated for valor by King Merrick, Howe's abrasive manners have earned him almost universal dislike among his peers. Okay, let's get going.
Hello, my dear boy. By chance, I am beginning to teach these young squires about your family's history.
Do we have to? History is boring.
Boys, you are referring to the Couslands, the very family in whose castle you live. Show some respect.
Yeah, show respect to Jim Cummings. Still the same taskmaster, I see.
If the mind is not exercised, it withers just as the body does. Perhaps you'd care to join me in teaching the lesson?
Certainly, I'd be happy to.
Wonderful. Oh, The Cousland history is long indeed. Where shall we start?
When was our line founded?
Well, records are vague, but the Couslands became Tierns during the Black Age. Is that familiar, child?
During the lycanthrope plagues.
Good. I'm pleased some of my lessons seem to have stuck. At that time, your family held only the minor title of Ban. When the werewolves reached this area, Ban Mather Cousland organized a curfew and patrols within the city. Several other local bands supported his efforts by swearing oaths of fealty, making him their Tiern.
We predate the founding of the kingdom, yes?
Well, I'm glad some of my lessons don't disappear into that yawning chasm between your ears, young man.
Hey. I'm doing the best I can.
It seems you've already plumbed the depths of your potential, then. A pity. At any rate, your family has held the Tournure of High Ever since before King Callan had united Ferelden. In fact, Tierna Elethea Cousland battled Calenhad to maintain High Ever's independence.
We opposed the king?
The Couslands are ardent royalists now, but at that time, Calenhad was unknown and considered dangerous by many. When Calenhad's army reached High Ever, Tierna Elethea led the local bands against him. Obviously, Calenhad won.
And Callan had let us keep the Tierner?
Calenhad wished to unite Ferelden, not conquer it. After Elethea's men were defeated, Calenhad asked her to swear fealty. The boulder where they held council still stands today as a memorial of that event.
Tell about our relationship with Arl Howe.
The history between the Couslands and the Howes reaches back to the Orlesian occupation.
When did Orlais occupy High Ever?
During your grandfather's rule. Of course, Orlais found it difficult to hold these lands. During the rebellion against Orlais, several battles were fought near High Ever. The port village of Harper's Ford was the Tourneur's center. Its Arl was Tarleton Howe. Though nearly 90, he was still as sharp and bitter as cheap ale. Your grandfather openly supported the rebellion, but Howe sided with Orlais. Your family was forced to seize Harper's Ford before it was all over.
We fought the Howes?
Your grandfather couldn't afford to lose Harper's Ford. In keeping the town, your family drove Orlais from its lands. The Howes eventually joined the rebellion, when all of Ferelden united behind King Merrick and General Loghain. Just as now we united behind Merrick's son, King Callan, to fight the darkspawn.
Time to end the lesson, I think.
Thank you for indulging an old man.
Oh, does that mean we have to listen to you now?
Silence! I will not have you two becoming smart-mouthed hooligans. Perhaps you should go. I doubt they need any more distraction. I'm just going to settle in here and apparently just talk to myself for all the good I'm doing. Damn, that's myself all this while you do this.
Respect your elders, kids. The occupation left empty castles in its wake. Whole families were butchered for the initial invasion, and all those who couldn't or wouldn't bend knee to the Emperor's puppet king were declared traitors and hunted. Many bloodlines ended on Chevalier's blades at dusty crossroads, in forest clearings, or in freeholds. And then there were the turncoats. To curry favor with their new masters, some nobles took up arms against their brothers. They betrayed and murdered the rebel queen, an act that created even more vacant titles and lands, once King Merrick exacted justice. That Ferelden did not fall apart after the Orlesians left is a testament to the strength of King Merrick. The old family still held grudges against those who had sided with the Emperor, and those new families that had been granted titles were viewed as interlopers. The lands meets that followed Merrick's coronation were tense, to say the least. I've done nothing so far. I'm just gonna go look around now. Ooh, let's read a book. History of Ferelden, Chapter 2. History of Ferelden, Chapter 1. Ferelden, as we think of it now, did not exist before the Exalted Age. Instead, the valley was divided up into dozens of old Alamari clans that warred constantly with one another over land, honor, the allegiance of the freeholders, and on one notable occasion, the name given to a favored Mabari. And then, in the 33rd year of the Exalted Age, Calenhad Therin became Tyrant of Denerim, and everything changed. Most of what we know about the founding of our nation comes from old songs that the bards passed down through the ages. The songs are filled with wild exaggerations and outright lies, but this hardly differs from the scholarly papers of some of my contemporaries. There is no agreement among poets or scholars of how he did it, but Calenhad gained the support of the Circle of Magi, and they crafted for him a suit of silvery white armor that, by all accounts, repelled both arrow and blade. Calenhad led his army across the valley and captured Redcliffe, one of only 3 men who ever successfully laid siege to the fortress, and presented himself to the bands of the land's meat as their king. The poets tell us that every lord knelt before Calenhad without question. The fact that he attended the land's meet surrounded by ash warriors and loyal mages of the circle is generally omitted from the ballads, however. From Calenhad came the line of Therin kings and queens who reigned uninterrupted until the 44th year of the Blessed Age, when the Orlesian invasion began. The rightful king was forced to flee Denerim, and for 70 years a puppet sat upon the throne. The occupation was a dark blot on Ferelden's history. Our people, who from time immemorial valued their freedom over all else, were forced to bow to Orlesian rule. The Empire declared our elves property and sold them like cattle. Chevaliers routinely plundered freeholds of coin, food, and even women and children, and excused it as taxation. And for 70 years, no lands meets were held, for the imperial throne had declared our ancient laws a form of treason. King Brandal was one of those who escaped. He tried to organize the other fugitive lords to retake their land, but Brandal was neither clever nor persuasive, and the nobles preferred to take their chances alone. Ferelden might still be little more than the territory of the Empire, were it not for the fact that his daughter had all the charisma that her royal father lacked. The rebel queen's rule began with a midnight attack on the imperial armory at Lothering. It was swift and successful, and with their pilfered arms, the rebels began a campaign against the Orlesians in earnest. But the turning point of the war came when a young freeholder joined the queen's army. The lad, Logain MacTyr, possessed a remarkable talent for strategy, and quickly became the favorite advisor of young Prince Merrick. The queen finally died at the hands of Orlesian sympathizers, anxious to curry favor with their painted masters, and Merrick took her place as the leader of the rebellion. Logain became Merrick's right hand. Merrick and Logain led the rebels in a new campaign against the Orlesian oppressors, culminating in the Battle of River Dane, where the last chevaliers in Denerim were crushed. With the capital once more in the hands of Fereldans, the battle to free our people was finally over, but the battle to rebuild what had been lost had only just begun.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening. See, we came in that way, so what's over here? Another book. Culture of Ferelden. The Fereldans are a puzzle. As a people, they are one bad day away from reverting to barbarism. They repelled invasions from Tevinter during the height of the Imperium with nothing but dogs and their own obstinate disposition. They are the coarse, willful, dirty, disorganized people who somehow gave rise to our prophet, ushered in an era of enlightenment, and toppled the greatest empire in history. There are few things you can assume safely in dealing with these people. First, they value loyalty above all things, beyond wealth, beyond power, beyond reason. Second, although they have nothing in their entire country which you are likely to think at all remarkable, they are extremely proud of their accomplishments. Third, if you insult their dogs, they are likely to declare war. And finally, The surest sign that you have underestimated the Ferildans is that you think you have come to understand them. Empress Celine the First of Orlais, in a letter to her newly appointed ambassador to Denerim. On we go. Oh. Want to look at map. There's Fergus. There's the cook. I'm right here.
And my dear Bryce bought this back from Orlais last year. The Marquis who gave it to him was drunk, I understand, and mistook Bryce for the king. Ah, here is my son, along with Sir Gilmore. Tell me, Sir Gilmore, has my pup collared that dog yet?
Not just yet, your ladyship.
Darling, do take care of that. That malodorous hound of yours is an excellent protector, but he drives Nan to distraction.
I'll just get rid of him then.
Your father acquired that Mabari for you at great cost, and the dog adores you. The least you could do is keep him out of trouble. Not
Yes,
to
Mom.
mention that I don't need my kitchen servants eaten. Sir Gilmore, see that it gets done.
As your ladyship commands.
Good. With any luck, I'll be able to feed my guests before the end of next week. Darling, you remember Lady Landra?
I think we last met at your mother's spring salon.
Of course, it's good to see you again, my lady.
You're too kind, dear boy. Didn't I spend half the salon shamelessly flirting with you?
Right in front of your family, too.
You remember my son, Dyron. He's riding with your father tomorrow.
It's good to see you again, my lord.
And you, Darren.
And this is my lady-in-waiting, Iona. Do say something, dear.
It is a great honor, my lord. I have heard many wonderful things about you.
Don't look now, Eleanor. But I believe the girl has a crush on your lad.
Lady Landra!
Hush, Landra. You'll turn the poor thing scarlet.
Are you talking about her or me? I can handle my own affairs, thank you.
All evidence to the contrary.
I think perhaps I shall rest now, my dear. Dyron, I will see you and Iona at supper.
Perhaps we'll retire to the study for now.
Good evening, your lordship. Sir Gilmore.
Mom, you don't have to embarrass me in front of everyone. I'm a big boy.
I can hear Nan shouting from here. Perhaps if you hurry, you can keep her from having a fit.
We better go. Come on, Sir Gilmore.
What now?
What's in here? Anything in here? Don't see any shiny stuff. Never mind. Empty room. To the kitchen.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening.
Impossible.
We'd best get to the kitchens before Nan decides to up and leave, don't you think? You know what your mother would say.
No, I cannot.
We'd best get to the kitchens before Nan decides to up and leave, don't you think? You know what your mother would say.
Yeah, I want to go there. No, no.
We should go to the kitchens as your mother requested. I don't want her angry at me.
Why aren't you marching with our men?
I would were it my choice. Your father decided I should remain with the complement guarding the castle. I hope that's because this Grey Warden wishes to see me.
Tell me about yourself, Sir Gilmore.
Well, you know I've served your father for years, since my own father sent me to squire here. My father is a minor lord in the Bannorn, but our land is little more than a glorified farmstead. I do miss it, though. The valleys of the Bannorn are beautiful this time of year. I take great pride in serving the Turn. Still, if I had the opportunity to join the Grey Wardens, I wouldn't hesitate.
You would leave my father's service?
With his blessing, I imagine. Joining the Wardens is the highest service one can render. Of course, my lord. Lead on.
Guess we gotta go around. Oh, the dining hall. One second. Okay, moving on.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening. Oh boy.
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder.
But mistress, it won't let us near.
If I can't get into that larder, I'll skin both of you useless elves. I swear it.
Hey.
Calm down, good woman. We've come to help.
You and you. Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down.
Hey. He's not a mongrel, he's a pureblood Mabori. I'm sorry he's bothering you, Nan.
Just get him gone. I've enough to worry about with a castle full of hungry soldiers. You two, stop standing there like idiots. Get out of the way.
Sorry.
Oh, look at that mess. How did he even get in here?
That's a good question. That's a big dog. Are you trying to tell me something?
It does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait. Did you hear that?
I get to name my dog. What the heck am I doing? Carver. Yeah, why not?
We're going to be attacked.
Time for combat.
I shall do it. As you say. It is begun. I shall do it.
These are big rats.
It shall be done. I shall do it.
Maker's breath! Look at that one!
Very well. It shall be done.
We must win!
Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell. Your hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all.
Those are some big rat holes if you were able to tunnel through them. Yeah, those were very large rats.
I've seen larger. They come up from the Kokari wilds sometimes. But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand, I'll be on my way. I'm to prepare for the arrival of more of the Isle's men.
Good boy, Carver. Who's your good boy? The Mabari is clever enough to speak and wise enough to know not to. Aedan's warhound has a pedigree older than Highever and a penchant for driving cooks to distraction. I'm frequently asked during my travels in other lands to explain the dog's omnipresence in Ferelden. Inevitably, I tell my foreign questioners that there are no more dogs in my homeland than in their own. In every civilized corner of Thedas, an astute observer will notice dogs employed in hunting game, keeping barns and storehouses free of vermin, herding livestock, guarding homes, and even used as beasts of burden in the mountains. It's simply that Ferelden's show appreciation for the work that our dogs do, and perhaps the reason for that is tangled up in mythology. Hafter, the first man to be named Tyrion, the hero who united our Alamari ancestors to drive back the darkspawn of the Second Blight, was reputed to be the son of a werewolf. Now, perhaps this was meant to be some comment on his temperament, or simply a way of making a great man even larger than life. But more than half the noble families of Ferelden claim to be descendants of Hafter, and consequently, many of our people believe they have some distant kinship with wolves. It's only good manners to be polite to one's kin. Oh, wait. There was more stuff. Dogs are an essential part of Ferelden culture, and no dog is more prized than the Mabari. The breed is as old as myth, said to have been bred from the wolves who served Dane. Prized for their intelligence and loyalty, these dogs are more than mere weapons or status symbols. The hounds choose their masters, and pair with them for life. To be the master of a Mabari anywhere in Ferelden is to be recognized instantly as a person of worth. The Mabari are an essential part of Ferelden military strategy. Trained hounds can easily pull knights off horseback, or break lines of pikemen, and the sight and sound of a wave of war dogs, howling and snarling, has been known to cause panic among even the most hardened infantry soldiers. What are you, mad? Even the most giant of rats isn't going to present that much of a problem to anyone larger than a cat. Even the stories in the archives that tell of blight-touched rats still only attributed them with the ability to spread the plague. The rats themselves got no larger than perhaps 3 feet in length. That's still a large rat. Covered in sharp bony spikes and boils. Disturbing, certainly, but dangerous? This is no fantasy conjured by madmen, young man. You have much more important creatures to concern yourself with. Still a very large rat, 3 feet. Quartz. Well, I hope Nan doesn't mind. I'm gonna, iron ring. Hi, Carver. Who's your good doggy? Who's your good doggy? Can you do something about this gory mess, please? Thank you. Do you see anything interesting? A short bow? You doggy.
There he is, as brazen as you please, licking his chops after helping himself to the roast, no doubt.
Actually, he was defending your larder from rats. Big ones.
What? Rats? Not the large gray ones.
They'll rip you to shreds, they will!
See, now you've gone and scared the servants. I expect those filthy things are dead.
Yes, the rats are dead. It's quite a mess, in fact. My faithful warhound made sure it's safe.
Oh, I bet that dog led those rats into there to begin with. Oh, don't even start with the sad eyes. I'm immune to your so-called charms. Here then, take these pork bits and don't say that Nan never gives you anything. Bloody dog. Thank you, my lord. Now we can get to work. That's right, you two. Quit standing about.
You're such a good dog, Carver. Yes, you are. You got a nice little treat from Nan.
The task is finished.
Let's see what's in here, boy. Deep mushroom. Kitty! Another deep mushroom. Got a green stone. Bye, kitty. All right, then. We gone this way? Oh, we're back here. Hi, Dad.
A whole darkspawn army in the south? Surely that's not true.
We will serve you well while the Terran is gone.
Thanks. Let me know if you ever need anything. It's over here. Another deep mushroom.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening. Okay, I think we just went around everything. So, let's go find my brother. Hi! I just like opening doors.
Maker, prepare a place for us. Redeem our world from sin. Forgive our transgressions.
Maker, forgive us all!
Have you come to pray for your brother and father? I'd be happy to ask for the Maker's blessings with you.
I would appreciate that, Mother Mallow.
Please, child, call me Malol. I've known you since you were a wee babe after all. Creator of the sky, the land, and the sea. Hear your people in our time of need.
Make her watch over us.
Let no man have cause to fear the shadows. Let their souls be lifted upon your return. So let it be.
Make her forgive us all.
There now. I'll be keeping a vigil tonight. You're welcome to come. There are many more who must receive the Maker's blessings before they leave. If you would excuse me.
I should go anyway.
We shall talk once the soldiers have departed.
There was no word for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn. And he said to them, In my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. Then in the center of heaven he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne, and sang hymns of praise unending, but their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light, reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the fade, saying, In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, Here I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, "To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return each night in dreams, that you may always remember me." And then the Maker sealed the gates of the Golden City, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. These truths the Maker has revealed to me, as there is but one world, one life, one death. There is but one God, and he is our Maker. They are sinners who have given their love to false gods. Magic exists to serve man, and never to rule over him. Foul and corrupt are they who have taken his gift, and turned it against his children. They shall be named Maleficar, accursed ones. They shall find no rest in this world or beyond. All men are the work of our Maker's hands, from the lowest slaves to the highest kings. To those who bring harm without provocation to the least of his children are hated and accursed by the Maker. Those who bear false witness and work to deceive others know this: there is but one truth. All things are known to our Maker, and he shall judge their lies. All things in this world are finite. What one man gains, another has lost. Those who steal from their brothers and sisters do harm to their livelihood and to their peace of mind. Our Maker sees this with a heavy heart. Andraste, bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the market of Minrathous, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Alamari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Mafarath, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together, they rallied the Alamari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker soared with creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Mafarath saw that the people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last the armies of Andraste and Mafarath stood before the very gates of Minrathous, but Andraste was not with them. For Mafarath had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Mafarath all the land to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Alamari and of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing. For his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste and drew his sword, granting her mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Mafarath, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady sits still in his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children. Wow. No matter their power, their triumphs, the mage lords of Tevinter were men and doomed to die. Then a voice whispered within their hearts, "Shall you surrender your power to time like the beasts of the fields? You are the lords of the earth. Go forth to claim the empty throne of heaven and be gods. In secret they worked, magic upon magic. All their power and all their vanity they turned against the veil until at last it gave way. Above them, a river of light. Before them, the throne of heaven, waiting. Beneath their feet, the footprints of the Maker, and all around them echoed a vast silence. But when they took a single step toward the empty throne, a great voice cried out, shaking the very foundations of heaven and earth. And so is the golden city blackened with each step you take in my hall. Marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin up to heaven, and doom upon all the world. Violently were they cast down, for no mortal man may walk boldly in the realm of dreams, bearing the mark of their crime. Bodies so maimed and distorted that none should see them and know them for men. Deep into the earth they fled, away from the light. In darkness eternal they searched for those who had goaded them on, until at last they found their prize, their god, their betrayer. The sleeping dragon Dumat, their taint twisted even the false god, and the whisperer awoke at last, in pain and horror, and led them to wreak havoc upon all the nations of the world. The first blight. Okay. Now that we've had our religious lesson for the day, let's go find my brother. Nope, not this way. Come on, Carver. Right, we gotta go this way. Hey, Mom.
So, you managed to solve Nan's dog issues? I'll take that as a yes. Good work, darling. Now you should say goodbye to Fergus before he leaves, don't you think?
You're right, I should go.
I love you, my darling boy. You know that, don't you?
I'm hardly a boy any longer.
Indeed. I turned around, and here you are. A fine man in your own right. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. Go do what you must, then. I will see you soon.
Love you too, Mom. Fergus. Fergus.
Think again.
Darn it.
No, I cannot.
Darn it. What's in here? Nothing.
Impossible.
Hey, Mom and Dad. There you are, Fergus.
Is there really going to be a war, Papa? Will you bring me back a sword?
That sword, Oren. And I'll get you the mightiest one I can find, I promise. I'll be back before you know it.
I wish victory was indeed so certain. My heart is disquiet.
Don't frighten the boy, love. I speak the truth. And here's my little brother to see me off. Now dry your eyes, love, and wish me well.
No darkspawn could harm Fergus.
He is as mortal as anyone, despite his refusal to believe.
Now, love, no need to be grim.
I bring a message. Father wants you to leave without him.
Then the Arl's men are delayed. You'd think his men were all walking backwards. Well, I'd better get underway. So many darkspawn to behead, so little time. Off we go then. I'll see you soon, my love.
I would hope, dear boy, that you plan to wait for us before taking your leave.
Be well, my son. I will pray for your safety every day you are gone.
You could have delivered your message yourself, Father.
And miss having both my children in one place before I leave? Not likely.
The Maker sustain and preserve us all. Watch over our sons, husbands and fathers, and bring them safely back to us.
And bring us some ale and wenches while you're at it. For the men, of course.
Fergus, you would say this in front of your mother?
What's a wench? Is that what you pull on to get the bucket out of the well?
A wench is a woman that pours the ale in a tavern, Orin. Or a woman who drinks a lot of ale.
Bryce, Maker's breath. I swear it's like living with a pack of small boys.
I'll miss you, Mother dear. You'll take care of her, brother, won't you?
You can count on me.
Oh, good. How thrilling to know I'm so well taken care of.
Enough, enough. Pup, you'll want to get an early night. You've much to do tomorrow.
I have a funny family. Seems your father's errand was just a ruse to get his family together one last time before he left for battle. He and your mother joined you, Fergus, and Fergus's family upstairs. You should go to your room and rest for the night. Wait, there's something back here. Level up! Okay, I got 3 points. Character's ability to read and influence others has improved. There we go. Codex. Politics of Ferelden. To our neighbors, Ferelden seems utterly chaotic. Unlike other monarchies, power does not descend from our throne. Rather, it rises from the support of the freeholders. Each freehold chooses the ban or Arl to whom it pays allegiance. Typically, this choice is based on proximity of the freehold to the Lord's castle, as it's worthless to pay for the upkeep of soldiers who will arrive at your land too late to defend it. For the most part, each generation of freeholders casts its lot with the same ban as their fathers did, but things can and do change. No formal oaths are sworn, and it is not unheard of, especially in the prickly central Banorn, for bans to court freeholders away from their neighbors, a practice which inevitably begets feuds that last for ages. Tiers arose from among the bands, war leaders who, in antiquity, had grown powerful enough to move other bands to swear fealty to them. There were many Tierns in the days before King Callan had, but he succeeded in whittling them down to only 2. Gwarin in the south, Hyever in the north. These Tierns still hold the oaths of bands and Arls who they may call upon in the event of war or disaster, and similarly, the Tierns still hold responsibility for defending those sworn to them. The Arls were established by the Tierns, given command of strategic fortresses that could not be overseen by the Tierns themselves. Unlike the Tierns, the Arls have no bands sworn to them, and are simply somewhat more prestigious bands. The king is, in essence, the most powerful of the Tierns. Although Daenerys was originally the Tiernan of the king, it has since been reduced to an Arling, as the king's domain is now all of Ferelden. But even the king's power must come from the bands. Nowhere is this more evident than during the Landsmeet, an annual council for which all the nobles of Ferelden gather, held for almost 3,000 years, except odd interruptions during the blights and invasions. The sight of a king asking for and working to win the support of lesser men is a source of constant wonder to foreign ambassadors. Those who had sought to claim heaven by violence destroyed it. What was golden and pure turned black. Those who had once been mage lords, the brightest of their age, were no longer men, but monsters. Sin was the midwife that ushered the darkspawn into this world. The Magisters fell from the Golden City, and their fate encompassed all our worlds, for they were not alone. No one knows where the darkspawn come from. A dark mockery of men in the darkest places they thrive, growing in numbers as the plague of locusts will. In raids, they will often take captives, dragging their victims alive into the deep roads, but most evidence suggests that these are eaten. Like spiders, it seems darkspawn prefer their food still breathing. Perhaps they are simply spawned by the darkness. Certainly, we know that evil has no trouble perpetuating itself. The last blight was in the Age of Towers, striking once again at the heart of Tevinter, spreading south into Orlais and cast into the free marshes. The plague spread as fast as far as Ferelden, but the withering and twisting of the land stopped well beyond our borders. Here, darkspawn have never been more than the stuff of legends. In the northern lands, however, particularly Tevinter and the Anderfells, they say darkspawn haunt their hinterlands, preying on outlying farmers and isolated villages, a constant threat.
Mama says you're going to be watching over us while Papa is gone. Is that true, Uncle?
Yeah, that's true, Orin.
What if the castle is attacked? Will there be dragons?
Dragons are terrible creatures, Orin. They eat people.
Yeah, I want to see one.
This is your influence, Fergus.
What? I didn't say anything.
Are you going to teach me to use a sword, Uncle? Then I can fight evil too. Take that, dire bunny. Oh, darkspawn, fear my sword of truthiness.
Truthiness?
We're teaching him about honesty.
Don't worry, son. You'll get to see a sword up close real soon. I promise.
And if your mom says it's okay, I'll teach you how to use it.
If you should need any assistance in the coming days, I would be glad to offer it.
Thanks, sister-in-law. Oh, I just leave the room and then I'm suddenly in bed. What's wrong, boy? Is someone out there?
My lord! Help me! The castle is under attack!
Well, this is some wake-up call.
It shall be done. As you say, it shall be done. It is begun. It shall be done. I shall do it. Don't bleed for this.
Get him, Carver.
Very well. No! Get off!
You alright, boy? Something's going on. We're being attacked. Nope, I wanted to loot. Can I loot?
More enemies ahead, as you say.
Oh, dang it.
Tell us! Greeting. Very well. Careful! Don't drop it. Hold it.
Get him, Carver.
I shall do it. It's begun.
Now, as I was going to...
Darling, I heard fighting outside and I feared the worst. Are you hurt?
When did you get to that get-up? I'm fine. What's going on?
A scream woke me up. There were men in the hall, so I barred the door. Did you see their shields? Those are Howl's men. Why would they attack us?
What? He's betrayed Father. He attacks while our troops are gone.
You don't think Howl's men were delayed? On purpose? That bastard. I'll cut his lying throat myself. Have you seen your father? He never came to bed.
No, I haven't. I was in my room.
We must find him.
Sounds like the battle's downstairs. Wait, we should check on Oriana and Orin as well.
And trust his mercy. What if the soldiers went into your brother's room first? Let's check on them quickly. Then we'll look for Bryce downstairs.
Can I please loot? Thank you. Oh, no.
My little Orin. What manner of fiend slaughters innocents?
Why would they do this?
How is not even taking hostages? He means to kill all of us. Oh, poor fuckers. Let's go. I don't want to see this.
Ooh, level up. Hey, Carver! This is just horrible, Mom. They killed my nephew! That's it. How's gotta pay? But we're gonna have to do that next time. We've been going for about an hour and a half now, and this is probably a good place to stop. So, until then, if you liked this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time. Curse you, How.